rise pursuant to Standing Order 52.1 to make a statement on a matter of general topical concern, namely the welfare and general working conditions of staff at the Chandarana Food Plus chain of supermarkets, especially at their Diani branch. Mr. Speaker, my office has received a complaint from staff at the retailer alleging cases of mistreatment, discrimination.
Order, honorable senators. May the senator for Nairobi City County be heard in silence, please.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. My office has received a complaint from staff at the retailer alleging cases of mistreatment, discrimination, harassment, racism, and unlawful termination of contracts, a clear pointer to levels of illegality and poor welfare at one of the biggest supermarket chains in the country. I feel obliged, therefore, to speak out on the matter because it may be a microcosm of a larger problem within not just the retail sector but across the low-income demographic in the entire country. Mr. Speaker, for a long time, Kenyan low-income earners have, in a desperate attempt to earn an honest living, endured horrible working conditions and unimaginable abuse from many employers and organizations. Many of these go unreported, but with this silence, their cancer metastasize into a national disaster needing urgent mitigation. Needless to say, low-income earners are the drivers of the economy, and their contribution to the GDP and the national growth cannot be gainsaid. Despite this reality, this demographic is also the most vulnerable to poor conditions of working and weak employment safeguards, and is generally prone to bear injustice without requisite support from the authorities. Mr. Speaker, sir, Article 41 of the Kenyan Constitution prohibits discrimination in recruitment, promotion, pay and conditions of work. Further, the Employment Act 2007 guarantees every worker access to fair labor practices, fair remuneration, and reasonable working conditions, as it clearly defines the fundamental rights of employees. However, there exist wide implementation and policy gaps when it comes to private sector, and when it comes to these laws being put in practice to protect workers. Indeed, a large section of the private sector remains weak on implementation of employment laws and subsequent protection of the working public. The exploitation must be addressed in its entirety and the root causes remedied immediately. Mr. Speaker, sir, apart from cases of workplace harassment being a hidden phenomenon in many of the establishments where the public moves in and out, nearly all of us have at some point encountered employees undergoing overt harassment by their employers. 62 years after independence, it is time to put our collective foot down and squarely tackle the mistreatment of low-income earners, especially in the retail chain sector. It behooves investors running businesses in the country to treat their local staff with dignity, just like it is our collective responsibility as Kenyans to create an enabling atmosphere that promotes thriving enterprise in the country as a key cog in employment. It is immoral to simply expect to have a nation of loyal taxpayers without that labor resource being nurtured and protected as the goose that lays the golden egg. Mr. Speaker, sir, I call upon the Ministry of Labor, trade unions and elected leaders to fearlessly speak out for workers facing such difficulties regardless of the sector they work in. It is important to note that the fear of victimization is a major cause of silence among victims, and it is imperative for leaders to bridge that gap by being firm and principled on the side of justice for the underprivileged. I further call upon the owners and the management of Chandarana Food Plus chain of supermarkets to address the matter of discrimination and harassment not only at their Diani branch, but in all their units across the country. This is a responsibility bestowed by law and by fair labor practices. I also wish to urge Parliament to work towards tightening laws whose weak implementation tends to open the door for such employee mistreatment within the workforce. Together, we must protect the low-income earners in the country from further exploitation. I thank you, Honourable Speaker.
The Senate Majority Leader.
Apologies, Speaker. Statement by the Majority Leader regarding the business of the week that commences on the 22nd of July, 2025, pursuant to Standing Order number 57-1. Mr. Speaker, this is the status of legislative business for that week. Mr. Speaker, sir, we have 59 bills, of which 40 are the second reading and 19 are at the committee of the whole stage pending consideration. There are 32 motions, Mr. Speaker, 3 of which are pursuant to Standing Order number 238, all of which have been discussed and are now pending conclusion. Further, Mr. Speaker, we have 28 petitions that are pending conclusion by respective committees. And like I observed last week, 19 of them, Mr. Speaker, are due for reporting already. So I want to request the chairpersons who are in the House, and I can see a number of them, Senator Faki, Senator Issa, I think Senator Muma, quite a number of them, and perhaps some are seated behind me, that I cannot see them, Mr. Speaker. If you're chairperson of a committee and you have a petition that is due for reporting, we are being very unfair to the citizens that petition this House, because they do so believing that we can deliver justice expeditiously, Mr. Speaker. And therefore, I hope that we can do that, Mr. Speaker, because that is part of our constitutional mandate, Mr. Speaker. We had an interesting one last week, the one by Mr. Musundi, Mr. Speaker, which we are already counting the 30 days because we continue to see that violation. It was quite tragic, Mr. Speaker. Not tragic, but poetic injustice, not justice this time. Because I spoke about it, and on Friday, last week, I went to a function, Mr. Speaker, as a chief guest, and the member of the National Assembly had actually branded a photo of themselves on that particular bus. I almost asked them to remove it, but then I figured the 30 days are not yet over. So I hope Secretariat, Mr. Speaker, are following up on the resolution of that matter. I was just making that point, Mr. Speaker, to remind our chairpersons on the importance citizens attach to this House, especially with regards to petition. There is a reason why this House receives almost 3 times the number of petitions that our counterpart House, more than our counterpart House, Mr. Speaker. So I want to request of our chairpersons, please don't let that very stellar performance and good record of this House disappear. Honorable Senators will also note that, as indicated in Order number 10 and 11 in today's order paper, 2 bills are scheduled for division at the second reading stage. Further, at Order number 12, the President's reservations to the Conflict of Interest Bill, National Assembly Bill number 12 of 2023, are equally scheduled for division at the Committee of the Whole stage. I therefore request our party whips to mobilize the requisite delegations for the divisions to be undertaken to ensure progress is made on this bill. Particularly, Mr. Speaker, the 2 bills that we concluded in the previous days, county allocation of revenue and equalization, which we concluded yesterday after a very interesting debate, Mr. Speaker, from members who gave their perspectives on who deserves to be equalized and who doesn't deserve. It was quite interesting, Mr. Speaker, to listen to the various perspectives. Those bills are now at the second reading, Mr. Speaker. I hope we can conclude and vote on them this afternoon so that next week we conclude on them and our counties can begin the operation. Mr. Speaker, you know we are almost getting to the last week of July and we haven't considered county allocation of revenue, which is the final instrument that delivers funds to counties, Mr. Speaker. We equally have to, in today's order paper, Mr. Speaker, the county additional allocation bill, another important bill as well that followed almost the same route with the equalization, Mr. Speaker. And I look forward to the debate on that one, Mr. Speaker, because there's good reason why that bill came up. Therefore, Mr. Speaker, I want to request that if we can prioritize voting this afternoon on those very important pieces of legislation for our county governments, I will appreciate. On Tuesday, the 22nd of July, when SBC meets, Mr. Speaker, we shall consider the business of the week, Mr. Speaker, which will include business not concluded on today's order paper, as well as other businesses that are indicated in the notice paper. The Wednesday, 23rd of July, Mr. Speaker, will include questions to the CSs as approved by SPC, as well as motions. We have next week the Minister in charge of Youth Affairs, Creative Economy and Sports, who's responding to questions by a number of colleagues. We have the CS also for cooperatives and micro, small and medium enterprises, responding to a number of questions, as well as the CS in charge of environment, Mr. Speaker. Finally, Mr. Speaker, these bills that I have mentioned earlier, that are the second reading stage, which include the county government, state officers removal from office procedure. There's a tobacco control bill, which quite a number of senators have had interesting perspectives on. Mr. Speaker, there's a county government county government's amendment bill, Mr. Speaker. Then there's a street naming and property addressing system bill, a very important bill, Mr. Speaker, that will respond to part of the issues actually that were raised in the petition by Mr. Musundi. These other bills, Mr. Speaker, that are the Committee of the Whole, which include the Sports Amendment Bill, Public Fundraisings Appeal Bill, the Heritage and Museums Bill, Environmental Laws, Statutory Instrument, which is an ADCO bill, County Government Election Laws, it's an ADCO bill as well, Mr. Speaker, Labour, Migration and Management Bill. These are bills that are in the third reading, Mr. Speaker, and I want to request colleagues, if possible, if we can schedule time next week and prioritize the conclusion of bills that we have finished actually moving of the amendments, and all that is required is to vote, Mr. Speaker. So I want to request if members can prioritize their attendance to the House so that we conclude on those bills. We have motions also on reports of the various standing committee, including the Devolution Committee, Mr. Speaker, into the state of markets in Vihiga and Bungoma County, arising from a statement that had been sought by Senator Osotsi and Senator Wakoli, both of the two counties. There's a progress report also from the Cohesion and Equal Opportunity. I want us to debate this, Mr. Speaker, because it's one of the takeaway items that came out of the motion that this House moved after the June 25th protest of 2024, Mr. Speaker. And many times you keep on being asked, after you guys spoke for that long, what else have you done? This committee has done fairly good work, not to the level that we asked of them at that particular time, but why I'm seeking your indulgence, members, is that we need to look at what Senator Chute's committee, the Committee on Equal Opportunities, has done so far, so that we can infuse further ideas about how to make this report conclusive. So I really request if next week we can have a conversation on this, Mr. Speaker, and members can speak to it with passion, because this is one of the things that keeps us as a country on the tenterhooks every other time. The fact that opportunities are not shared equally, and the Senate can lead the way in ensuring that we grant equal opportunity to all Kenyans. Parliament, by the way, Mr. Speaker, I would just make a good example, because I served in PSC, and I know that we have a regional representation policy. Every time we do employment in this House, in Parliament, Mr. Speaker, part of what we consider is a geographical representation of the candidates that, that are being considered, especially where there is mass employment. And there's a quota allocated to every region, Mr. Speaker, including even in internship. This House, Parliament, Mr. Speaker, has internship opportunities for lawyers, for example. And one of the things that we do is that we offer those opportunities per county. So if this year we have county 1 to 15, because there are 15 slots, unless they have increased now, those 15 counties sit out for the next 3 years until the rest of the 32 counties out of the 47 have gotten an opportunity to present a candidate. Such are the kind of intervention that this House can recommend to ensure that as a country, even in terms of employment and equal opportunities, in all and across the span and breadth of the public sector is represented. That needs to be covered in this report, and therefore I want to urge members that next week when we discuss this report, please bring your A game so that we're done. Finally, Mr. Speaker, the projected business for Thursday, 24th, will be any other business that will not have concluded on Tuesday and Wednesday. I thank you, Mr. Speaker, and hereby lay this statement on the table of the Senate. Thank you.
Now, honorable senators, before we move to the next order, I have this communication to make. I would like to acknowledge the presence in the public gallery this afternoon, visiting teachers and students from Ikundu Primary and Junior School in Murang'a County. The delegation comprises 46 students and 5 teachers who are in the Senate for a one-day academic exposition. Now, honorable senators, in our usual tradition of receiving and welcoming guests to Parliament, I extend a warm welcome to them, and on behalf of the Senate and my own behalf, wish them a fruitful visit. I will call upon the Senator for Murang'a under 1 minute to exit. Honorable Senator, take your seat. Take your seat. Majority Leader, you cannot dictate how the chair is going to handle its business. Honorable Nyutu, under 1 minute, kindly extend one word of words.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker, for this opportunity, and thank you for correcting the mischief by the Majority Leader. I take this opportunity, Mr. Speaker, to welcome the pupils and teachers of Ikondu Primary School. This is a school in the Maragua constituency, and to be specific, in Ginda ward of the same constituency. So I take this opportunity to welcome the good pupils and their teachers and encourage them to stay on for the time that they are going to be here to see what is done in this particular house, the upper house, that basically is about evolution. And Mr. Speaker, this is a school that is very progressive, and I know, and I want to assure the pupils of Ikondu Primary School and their teachers that we have faith in them, and their future is very bright. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Next order.
Order number 8, motion, approval of Senate nominees for appointment to the Board of Trustees for the post-service medical scheme for members of Parliament.
The Senate Majority Leader.
Mr. Speaker, I rise to move the following motion. This is the approval of Senate nominees to the appointment to the Board of Trustees for the post-service medical scheme for members of Parliament, that pursuant to the resolution of the Parliamentary Service Scheme on the Parliamentary Service Commission of 23rd June 2025 with respect to trust deeds and rules for post-service medical scheme for members of Parliament, the Senate appoints Senate Justice Retired Stewart Mazayo and Senator Esther Okenyuri to the Board of Trustees to the post-service medical scheme for members of Parliament. Mr. Speaker, that is what it is. I request Senator Ledama Olekina to second.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I second the motion as moved.
So, honorable senators, I'll proceed to propose the question that pursuant to the resolution of the Parliamentary Service Commission of 23rd June 2025, with respect to the trust deed and rules for the post-service medical scheme for members of Parliament, the Senate appoints Senator Justice Retired Stewart Mazayo, AGH MP, and Senator Esther Okenyuri, MP, to the Board of Trustees for the post-service medical scheme for members of Parliament. Now, honorable senators, the floor is open for debate. Now, remember, honorable senators, that this matter was elaborately explained to us during our last Naivasha retreat. It was adequately interrogated by us during that meeting. And therefore, I would urge you, instead of spending more time to debate on the very same matter that was explained and interrogated by us, with your concurrence, I proceed to put the question. Honorable senators, I will now put the question. That pursuant to the resolution of the Parliamentary Service Commission of 23rd June 2025, with respect to the trust deed and rules for the post-service medical scheme for members of Parliament, the Senate appoints Senator Justice Retired Stewart Mazayo, AGH MP, and Senator Esther Okenyuri, MP, to the Board of Trustees for the post-service medical scheme for members of Parliament. Will as many as of that opinion say aye? Aye. Will as many as of the contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it. Next order.
Order number 9, motion, consideration of the report of the Mediation Committee on the Gambling Control Bill, National Assembly Bills number 70 of 2023.
Mr. Speaker, sir, I beg to move that the Senate adopts the report of the Mediation Committee of the Gambling Control Bill, National Assembly Bill number 70 of 2025, laid on the table of the Senate on Wednesday, 16th July 2025, and that pursuant to Article 113(2) of the Constitution and Standing Order 167(3) of the Senate, approves that mediated version of the bill. I request Senator Sigei to second.
Mr. Speaker,
Yes, Honorable Sigei.
Mr. Speaker, I second the motion that has just been tabled by the Honorable Senator Alan Sang. And just to affirm a bit of the mediated version of the gambling bill, Mr. Speaker, that is a product of a joint committee of the National Assembly and this House, where initially when the bill came into the House, certain amendments were proposed, leading to a reversion, or rather a reconstitution of the mediation committee to consider the proposals that particularly came from this House. In particular, Mr. Speaker, part of the new introductions to the version of the bill that is currently before the House is a requirement for purposes of those trading in the business to have not necessarily ownership or the 30% ownership of the local representatives, especially for those who want to trade online. This was a position that earlier on had been provided that required any gambling agency must submit 30% of its shareholding to local investors. Mr. Speaker, the committee in its discussion over it provided that the only way we can enhance the business community in that particular sector to enhance support and access to these countries to ensure that they actually relinquish certain percentage of their shares, and also are required to meet a certain condition, including provision of physical space, registration processes that are normally required for local entities. And, Mr. Speaker, the version that has now been tabled will speak to a number of the concerns, noting that this is one of those businesses that is currently almost across the world. Gambling, as you know, has been regulated across the world because of the need to make sure that young Kenyans or young members of the society who do not necessarily understand the gambling might end up being consumed in the sector if the regulations are not properly in place. This particular bill, Mr. Speaker, will ensure that that protection, that control is enhanced to support the mechanism which everybody who gets involved in gambling is required to comply with certain provisions of the law. So, Mr. Speaker, I support and I request the members of the House to support the motion so that the bill can progress to the next level for processing. And I thank you.
Honorable Senators, I will now propose the question that the Senate adopt the report of the Mediation Committee on this Gambling Control Bill, National Assembly Bills number 70 of 2025, laid on the table of the Senate on Wednesday, 16th July 2025, and that pursuant to Article 113(2) of the Constitution and Standing Order 167(3) of the Senate, approve the mediated version of the bill. Now, the floor is open for debate. The Senator Fernandi.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, sir. While I note that the Mediation Committee of the Senate and National Assembly have done extremely well, is that our representative failed to note that under Article 96, our role is to protect devolution, and on the fourth schedule, there is a critical role of Mr. Speaker, of county governments. And one of the critical roles of the county government is issuance of licensing, not only on other things, but also including gambling. While I appreciate there is an amendment that has been proposed by the committee, we should have increased, elaborate, because there are so many licenses that we issue. Mr. Speaker, when you visit a number of our local shops somewhere in Narok Town, you will notice the wall is mosaic. Not because it is a design of that shop, but because of the many licenses that we issue. And therefore, I agree, but we should have retained and given powers for the licensing, while I appreciate that they are proposing that county will develop county legislation. So, Speaker, you have to appreciate this country is a country of diverse. When you go where Senator Haji comes from and other counties that are predominantly Islamic, yeah, even, I don't know, Kwale and also Mombasa predominantly. I'm not saying all of it predominantly. That's good English. It's called prospectus, Mr. Speaker, or conceptus, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I thought there is only one speaker in the House. Mr. Speaker, therefore, it will be a big challenge. So if you say let counties make their own county legislation, counties that are predominantly Islamic, they might not allow this. So would have proposed in their report, they will not allow this, Mr. Speaker. If they would not, they would have proposed a uniform county legislation for counties to be able to follow on this issue of gambling. Because of different diverse culture, different religion. Mr. Speaker, you have to appreciate that this culture of gambling is killing many families, Mr. Speaker. And gambling is an addiction, Mr. Speaker. It is becoming a problem. Mr. Speaker, Mr. Speaker, while we appreciate we must raise taxes, gambling is a dangerous disease that when it is addictive, it should be treated the way it is being treated, Mr. Speaker. Many people are betting the other day that Chelsea will win, PSG will win, and I'm telling you there are people who are still recovering from that shock, especially people who did not support Chelsea to win. So, and they have gambled, there is betting, there is many betting companies, Mr. Speaker. I'm told even in our villages where we come from, especially where Senator Kalwale comes from, I'm told young men and women are stealing even eggs to go and sell so that they are gambling, Mr. Speaker. When you visit our small centers, there are some Chinese-like machines called lotteries, where, Mr. Speaker, they are taking a lot of our resources, Mr. Speaker. Therefore, I would have expected our committee, we don't want to be a gambling nation, Mr. Speaker. And you know this thing of gambling with life, even when you saw the other day, people are gambling with their lives. They go on the streets, they loot. When it is just a gambling. Mr. Speaker, you saw some of the young people were even sending money for morticians, even during Sabasaba and during the anniversary, Mr. Speaker, of GNC demonstrations. We are a dangerous country, Mr. Speaker. We are teaching the young people bad manners, Mr. Speaker, of gambling. Because we have said, Mr. Speaker, that you can gamble your way to wealth or to power, Mr. Speaker. We should desist, and even I'm happy, Mr. Speaker, some of your guests, including boys and girls from various schools, should know that gambling is a bad manners. We should not teach our society to gamble. We should not. We know people who have gambled their way to where they are, Mr. Speaker, and we don't want to mention names after you gave us directive or in the ruling that you gave it in a Solomonic manner, Mr. Speaker. So we don't want to teach anybody to be a gambler. The only gambler we should allow is Kenny Rogers' song about gambling, Mr. Speaker. That's the only song we should allow. The Kenny Rogers, Mr. Speaker. No, the standing orders does not allow me to sing, Mr. Speaker, and they are misleading me. Mr. Speaker, you should know when to run and when to stay. Mr. Speaker, so this issue of trade permits, license amusement machines, pool table permits, Mr. Speaker, license and supervise of county issuance of trade permits for total setters. Mr. Speaker, these are very interesting English. Mr. Speaker, it reminds me the hearing of the president of Eastern Cape, Judge Celebi Mbenenge over his claims of sexual harassment, and he's using very powerful English like what the committee have used here, Mr. Speaker. So this issue of I would have expected the committee...
Senator Olekina, kindly take your seat. Thank you. Proceed.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, for protecting me. Mr. Speaker, and therefore number two is on the issue of, I agree with the amendment that the young people should be part of the betting board, and therefore a representative from Council of Governors, because that is where we should, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, another committee resolution that I have noted is functions from the authority, which I agree the issuance of license should stay with the counties. Mr. Speaker, you know we are struggling with on-source revenue. I have seen a number of governors celebrating on on-source revenue, Mr. Speaker. We should retain the issue of licensing. The Constitution is very clear that under the Constitution, Mr. Speaker, the fourth schedule, and even the Constitution itself, the power of issuance of licensing stay within. Mr. Speaker, I know KRA is struggling to raise money. We are aware, Mr. Speaker, we have a deficit budget of 4.2 trillion shillings. We normally on average raise 2 trillion through Kenya Revenue Authority, Mr. Speaker. While I appreciate that, we should not allow KRA to arrogate itself the power they don't have, Mr. Speaker. They shouldn't. And therefore, I agree with this amendment that the issue of issuance of license, the factor of raising revenue, is only given to two entities, Mr. Speaker. It is given to the national government, it is given to the, Mr. Speaker, is given to county government. And the Constitution is very clear, Mr. Speaker, that should you want to give yourself power to collect revenue, Mr. Speaker, and I'm happy the Senate Justice, retired Judge Stewart Manzayo knows this, is you come to legislate. You don't take it through the back door, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, because I'm running through, because this is the clause, this is Senate Amendment Clause 28. I agree that the employees an accreditation for a person in non-gambling within gambling premises, so that we don't need to use the sweeping of the police to those. Mr. Speaker, another problem, Mr. Speaker, I came to learn this issue because I have seen in this clause number 28 that media nowadays, while I appreciate media are struggling to raise the revenue. Mr. Speaker, all the radio stations, the televisions, I have tremendous respect for the media. That's why they are called the fourth estate. Mr. Speaker, I was surprised even old men and women of 70 years are now gambling in radio stations. In TVs, Mr. Speaker, they are now gambling. It is becoming a dangerous disease. Mr. Speaker, while media are trying to raise the revenue to run their stations, I know one of the media owners is looking at me, Mr. Speaker. He is trying and be moral. We cannot legislate anything. From morning to evening, Mr. Speaker, you only hear promotion. Buy this. If you gamble with 1,000, you gain 10,000, Mr. Speaker. We don't want to reduce this country to a gambling nation. We are gambling with our lives. We are gambling with the economy. We are gambling with elections, Mr. Speaker. We are gambling in our relationship, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I want to agree, these media promotions, we must regulate, Mr. Speaker. It should be PG. It should be parental guidance. It should be put, Mr. Speaker, at the watershed period, Mr. Speaker, so that we don't need the NCCK or Kenya Episcopal Conference of Catholic Bishops or the evangelistic or traditional or the Islamic religious to come out and tell us to legislate on issues that can be done morality, Mr. Speaker. We don't want to create a society, Mr. Speaker, an aspect of capitalism. You know, capitalism does not have a soul and a heart, Mr. Speaker. And therefore, I agree that we must regulate. And I'm told, Mr. Speaker, these promotions that you do in media, you can imagine 1 million Kenyans sends 100 shillings, and they end up giving out only a gift of 500,000. So, Mr. Speaker, they are making a lot of money. Number 31, I agree that the period of validity of license free increase from 12 to 36 months. Mr. Speaker, this one will give opportunity. And I agree that let us increase from 12 months this issue of operation license, of the gambling license move from 12 months to 36 months so that it can allow ease of doing business, Mr. Speaker, convenience, reliability. Therefore, Mr. Speaker, this issue of 12 to 36 months is very critical so that it becomes predictable, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I was talking to some businessmen and women. It is becoming a problem visiting county offices. When you go to county offices, you are being told, can you come behind the tent? It is inconveniencing, Mr. Speaker, starting a business in this country. And I want to appeal to government agencies, Mr. Speaker. Starting a business in this country, by the time you get even one license, if you have never gotten an heart attack, you get diabetes or hypertension. Because we have created a very tedious process of receiving licensing in this business, including from NEMA, Mr. Speaker, from all the agencies, including public health. Why don't we create one portal that when you want to apply license, you can get only one license? If today, Mr. Speaker, you want to cut a tree in Nairobi, the agencies, Mr. Speaker, that you will go, even those agencies are not more than the process of going to heaven, Mr. Speaker. It is so tedious. It is so unfortunate, Mr. Speaker. Therefore, by the time you get your license, if you are not sick, Mr. Speaker, you are bankrupt. Because this brown envelope, Mr. Speaker, your file has disappeared and all those. So I agree that there should be predictability. Gambling license should move from 12 months to 36 months. On the issue of tax rate of 15%, lottery tax at the rate of 15%, Mr. Speaker, as I indicated, that the gambling issue, we should be very careful as a country. In fact, I want to request, Mr. Speaker, the Committee of Trade and ICT must do an audit of this gambling that we have, Mr. Speaker. You are being told you can win a mbuzi or a goat, you can win a car, you can win 100,000, you can win a trip to Diani, you can win a trip, Mr. Speaker. They are just playing with the imaginations of Kenya, and they are making more money. I am daring today, I can see the chair of trade, Senator Issa Juma Boy. Just take one media company or an advert. 1 million Kenyans send 100 shillings, including our old men and women in the village. And they only give a reward of 500,000 or even 20,000. Those guys are making devilish and satanic profits at the expense of Kenyans, Mr. Speaker. They are making it, Mr. Speaker. There are people who are going without food because they are gambling, Mr. Speaker. Even I know the football season is over, but I want to appeal to many young people, or has it begun? Yes, it's coming in August, Mr. Speaker. So I want to appeal, this issue we must agree, and I agree that we need to introduce the lottery tax of 15%, Mr. Speaker, as a preventive mechanism against the disease called gambling, Mr. Speaker. And I want to say this issue of gambling must and should be arrested. So the issue of 15% tax at the rate of 15% on lottery tax, Mr. Speaker, should and must be included. While I appreciate, Mr. Speaker, it is not lost on us that most of these betting companies are sponsoring football tournaments, they are giving out support, they are giving out CSR. But, Mr. Speaker, when you compare the cooperative social responsibilities that these betting companies and lottery companies are giving, it's a drop in the auction, Mr. Speaker. It's a drop in the auction, Mr. Speaker. And therefore, they must pay tax, and we must ensure this CSR, while they say, I normally see the sponsor Gorbaya, AFC, Mr. Speaker, you know, in the spirit of East Africa, I have a lot of interest in Tanzania, Mr. Speaker. I normally see SportsPesa sponsoring Simba or Yanga, Mr. Speaker, down there in Tanzania. While we appreciate, even here, AFC Leopard, this one, Harambee Stars, we want them to be sponsored, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, and many other companies.
Honorable Faki, allow your colleague to make his comments. Proceed.
Mr. Speaker,
if you need to give information, you know what to
Mr.
do.
Speaker, you know some habits die hard. Old habits, sorry. Old habits die hard, and I understand why. Mr. Speaker, he's a good man. So, Mr. Speaker, this one of the tax should be charged by the license booker, and we agree with that, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, quickly, single from to 1 shilling, Mr. Speaker. This is where I was saying. I don't know whether our majority leader, I don't know whether your membership are aware of the reality on the ground. Because vitu kwa ground is different, Mr. Speaker, forgive my language. But how do you reduce from 20 shillings to 1 shilling? You will allow the small children also to be betting, Mr. Speaker. And where is the mover of this report, Mr. Speaker? I don't think he's around. Mr. Speaker, you will allow young boys and girls to bet because you are reducing it from 20 shillings, Mr. Speaker, to 1 shilling, Mr. Speaker. That this minimum amount bet, unless, Mr. Speaker, with a lot of tremendous respect, this law reflects to the role of the betting companies, Mr. Speaker. And we must agree, because that the national...
Senator Fernandez.
Yes.
The senator for Bomet wishes to give information. Are you amenable?
No, if it was about Chebole Road, I would have agreed, but on this one, I'm an expert.
Proceed.
Allow me, Mr. Speaker, to proceed. No, to reduce the minimum of single bet in a casino from 20 shillings to 1 shilling, Mr. Speaker, unless you want me to bring a casino, even the small you see in Jebwalungu Center, somewhere in the Bomet, Mr. Speaker, because in the committee report, this is not my report, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, on the clause number 66, I think when you will be replying, you can clarify if you think I didn't capture your but we should stop from being gatekeepers of certain interests, Mr. Speaker. I know them. Mr. Speaker, I've been around for long. I know they are put on a mask, but we'll unmask them when the time comes, Mr. Speaker, during voting. Mr. Speaker, I allow the clause number 66. In this issue of financial reporting and anti-money, I agree they have done a good job there. Mr. Speaker, the issue of money laundering. Mr. Speaker, you know there are people who are stealing public funds. We used to have pirates here in Somalia. There was a lot of money coming to it's called illicit money. Mr. Speaker, I think on the issue of money laundering, Senator Sige, you have done extremely well on this matter. We must address money laundering, Mr. Speaker. We don't want people to be stealing money and putting it in betting so that they can laundering it. Because the process of money laundering, the layering process, and reintegrating the illicit money into the system, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, on the issue, because I'm running through quickly, clause number 71, Mr. Speaker, penalty, I disagree, Mr. Speaker, to 50 shillings. I think this one, the mediation of by deleting amount 5 million, therefore 3 million shillings. Mr. Speaker, I thought we had agreed. While we don't want to morally legislate, why would you reduce? We want this to be punitive. We want people who want to gamble, people who have excess money, like Senator Issa and Senator Faki. Mr. Speaker, we want people who have a lot of money to gamble. Mr. Speaker, this 5 million, and I'm happy Senator Issa is proud of it, that therefore 3 million, it should stay. I hope when it comes to committee of the whole, Mr. Speaker, that issue can be relooked at, Mr. Speaker. In this clause number 87, television, I agree. This one, in conclusion, Mr. Speaker, remove the restriction that a gambling advertisement shall not be broadcasted on television between 6 a.m. to 10 p.m. unless it is done on a live sporting event. Mr. Speaker, I agree this watershed moment because most of our children who are part of your guests today are asleep. Then we can do a PG calendar guidance so that those adverts of betting and gambling can be done during watershed moment, and also to protect our children and people under 18 years. Mr. Speaker, the 20 million to 1 imprisonment from 20 years, I agree. This is very important, 20 million shillings to 1 million shillings. Mr. Speaker, 1 minute. Mr. Speaker, I disagree. Why do you want to reduce from 20 million to 1 million, Mr. Speaker? This is wrong. Mr. Speaker, we disagree. Any media that advertises beyond the restricted time, they should be fined 20 million. Mr. Speaker, with those many recommendations and report debate, I beg to differ and we will oppose with all my body organs when it comes to voting.
Senator Faki.
Mheshimiwa Spika, pia mimi nichangie ripoti hii ya uwiano kuhusiana na sheria ya kamari. Na Mheshimiwa, kwanza jambo la kwanza ni kuwa japokuwa kamati mbili hizi zilikaa pamoja na kujaribu kuangalia yale masuala ya sheria hiyo ya kamari. Kwanza ni kwamba kamari si biashara, Mheshimiwa Spika. Kamari ni kamari. Na kamari na madhara mengi, Mheshimiwa Spika, ikiwemo ile tunaita addiction ama uraibu, vile vile pia inasababisha athari za akili, yani mental health. Mheshimiwa Spika, wengi wale ambao wanakwenda katika shughuli hizi wanaathirika kiakili, kwa sababu bila ya kwenda katika mchezo wa kamari, Mheshimiwa Spika, mtu yule anakuwa si mtu wa kawaida. Tatizo niliko nalo na sheria hii, Mheshimiwa Spika, ni kwamba imetoa fursa ya kufanya hata watu wadogo waweze kucheza kamari, kwa sababu ikiwa kiwango cha pesa ambazo unaweza kutumia kwa kamari kimepunguzwa kutoka shilingi 20 mpaka shilingi 1, ina maana kwamba kila mtu anaweza kushiriki katika mchezo wa kamari. Mheshimiwa Spika, shida nyingine ni kwamba katika vituo vyetu vya redio kwa sasa, Mheshimiwa Spika, matangazo mengi ni ya kamari. Kwa kipindi cha muda wa saa moja, Mheshimiwa Spika, katika redio zetu za FM, karibu saa nzima wanatumia kutangaza kamari. Utasikia ukilipa shilingi 100 utapata shilingi 2,000. Ukilipa shilingi 100 utapata 200,000. Kwa hiyo Mheshimiwa Spika, imekuwa ni jambo la kawaida sasa katika nchi yetu kwamba watu wanashiriki katika masuala ya kamari, na hii Mheshimiwa Spika sio jambo zuri, kwa sababu baadhi ya zile athari ambazo nimezitaja hapa, Mheshimiwa Spika, zitaweza kuwasibu Wakenya wengi. Hivyo basi na nchi haitapata watu ambao wanaweza kufanya kazi kuweza kujenga nchi. Mheshimiwa Spika, ningependekeza kwa sheria labda ingefanywa ngumu zaidi ama kali zaidi kuhusiana na wale ambao wanakiuka sheria kuhusiana na masuala ya kamari. Kwa mfano, hizi vituo vya redio ambavyo vinatangaza mara kwa mara masuala ya kamari vingepunguziwa muda ambao wanatakana kutangaza kamari hiyo, Mheshimiwa Spika. Kwa sababu bila ya hivyo ina maana kwamba kila mtu ataingia katika mchezo wa kamari, na hivyo basi itakuwa sio nzuri kwa nchi yetu ya Kenya. Mheshimiwa Spika, kwa hivyo shirika la communication, taasisi ya Communication Authority lazima iwe macho pia zaidi, Mheshimiwa Spika, ili kuhakikisha kwamba zile kamari ambazo zinatangazwa mara kwa mara ambazo zinaathiri watu wetu zinapunguzwa. Mwisho, Mheshimiwa Spika, ni kwamba kwa sababu ya hii kamari ambayo iko katika vyombo vya habari na kila mahali, ma TV, hata zile kasino ambazo zamani ndio ilikuwa ni sehemu za kamari, hivi sasa zimeweza kufifia. Biashara nyingi za kasino, Mheshimiwa Spika, zinaweza kufungwa kwa sababu wengi wanashiriki katika kamari ambayo iko katika mitandao, yani online. Hivyo basi biashara zile taasisi ama zile sehemu ambazo kamari ilikuwa ikichezwa zamani imebadilika sasa, imekuwa hata majumbani watu wanacheza kamari. Bibi na bwana wanashiriki katika kamari, kila mmoja akijaribu kushabikia timu yake ya mpira ama kushabikia jambo fulani ambalo iwapo watashinda itakuwa ni wameweza kupata zile pesa ambazo wamewekeza katika kamari hiyo. Mheshimiwa Spika, kwa hayo mengi napinga mswada huu.
Senator Mungatana.
Mr. Speaker, thank you for giving me the opportunity to make a comment on this mediated version and this report that has come back to the Senate for approval. Mr. Speaker, I want to commend the team that sat down for this mediation process. On our side, we were led by our Senator and Chair of ICT, Senator Chesang, and we are grateful, Mr. Speaker, that some of the critical issues that we raised, some of the issues that were bringing disagreements between the two houses have been resolved. This means, Mr. Speaker, that in a short while, this bill will become law after assent by His Excellency, the President. Mr. Speaker, during the main debate,
system has failed them. When somebody is trying to fundraise, for example, for education or taking someone to university, you must not regulate that, but you must ask, why is this person feeling that the education system has failed them, and that's why they have to look into their family and friends and community to raise funds for education. Same principle for me, Speaker, lies here. Why are we trying to regulate gambling and try to put heavy restrictions or legislation on top of this issue, rather than actually dealing with the root cause of why people are privy or prey or run prey to gambling, which is the things that I've mentioned before? I think those are the issues that we need to really sit and think about, not just as legislators, but as thinkers, Mr. Speaker, because that's why we are here. We are apparently the most brilliant minds in the country, and that's why we have been put here to represent our people. And if we cannot sit and think about the root cause of our issues as a country, rather than always treating the symptoms and slapping a piece of legislation on top of it, then we will never, ever control anything. Nonetheless, gambling is my opinion, Speaker. And even if we go ahead
Senator Mungatana, Cherargei and AD, please consult in low tones so that we can hear Senator Crystal. Proceed.
Thank you for protecting me from the members who are consulting. This is a very emotive subject, and I'm sure that they are busy discussing my submission as I speak. Thank you very much, Speaker. I want to just underscore and re-emphasize that we need to think about the root cause, curing that, or preventing the root cause, rather than thinking about how to cure it with a piece of paper and regulations. Speaker, even as a creative, let me speak from the perspective of a creative. We recently, in the last financial bill of last year that was thwarted by protests across the country, Speaker, there was a provision or a proposal to start taxing creatives, the creative industry. And creatives came out in large numbers to say, how can you tax us or regulate us when you haven't created an environment for us to even thrive in the first place? What are you going to tax out of us? Creatives said. And Speaker, that same idea, I will take it not literally, but there are similarities from that to this, which is, why would you want to tax a base of people who clearly are showing symptoms of issues that we have not solved as society? Rather than solving them, we are punishing them for being unemployed, for being addicted to alcohol or drugs or pornography, whatever the case might be, when we haven't actually sat down as thinkers and the most brilliant minds in the country and looked at the research and actually engaged with evidence-based legislation to then realize that, hey, this may not be the actual, or it may not be a sustainable solution to just write a piece of legislation. We need to actually go down to the base, to the core, to the bottom line, which is, why are our people feeling the need to continue to gamble their lives, their assets, their dreams, their possessions away, instead of looking for earnest work, looking to cure their mental illness, looking to address their addictions, looking to stop watching pornography. Mr. Speaker, for me, that is something that is poignant, and I had laid it out very clearly when we looked into this bill in the Labour Committee. It's still the case now, even though there's mediated version, which has not really addressed that same question, which is maybe philosophical, but still has to be answered by somebody. And I would have hoped that this mediated version or this committee would have addressed those kinds of issues, rather than slapping us with yet another piece of legislation which may never, ever solve our problem and never bring any kind of control to gambling. I thank you.
Thank you, Senator. Senator Andrew Omtata.
I'll be very brief and presidential. First of all, this is a bad bill. It is tackling a very, very technical area without any scientific study having preceded it. And that is why the problem is. The root cause of gambling is a misconception that it's a shortcut, it is a shortcut to making wealth. There's a shortcut to make it to creating wealth. And in a country like Kenya now, where there is to make a shilling has become very difficult, you can see the way that this thing has mushroomed across, and maybe we may need to withdraw this bill, have a proper study on what is driving this issue, and then come up with scientific solutions. When I look through this bill, I don't see anything that is scientific about it, and I don't see any solution proffered. Yes, there's need for regulation, but by doing what? There's need for education, but by doing what? There's need for so many interventions, but by doing what? So I think, Mr. Speaker, this bill, though a good idea, but it's not being done well. And as a student of St. Thomas Aquinas, yes, my position is that if something is worth doing, it's worth doing well. This bill is badly done, though we need an intervention in the problems facing us with gambling, but this bill is not the solution. Senator Mungatana did not support the bill. He recognized that there was a bill, but I didn't say he did not support it. He recognized that there was a bill. And for me, Mr. Speaker, in the absence of a serious study, we are really groping in the dark, and we are likely to make a bad situation worse, thinking that we are doing something to improve it. So I would say that this bill be withdrawn, and a proper study be conducted by the state. Then, from that study, the state can bring us a bill that can address the issues in the industry. Because you have seen even situations like, if you look at all the adverts on gambling, when you look at all the adverts on gambling, they promise quick wealth. Yes. They don't promise anything else. It's not refreshing your mind, it's not a pastime, but you're going to get rich at the end of the day. As they say, leo hustler, kesho sonko, kind of transformations. So I would pray that this bill be withdrawn, or if it's not withdrawn, we vote it out, and then give that, leave the door open for a better, well-resourced, well-researched, and well-reasoned bill to come before us, one that can then exercise our minds. Really, right now, we are just not well informed to make a decision. And with those few remarks, Mr. Speaker, sir, I personally reject the bill. Thank you.
Honorable Senators, there being no other senators wishing to contribute, I call the mover to reply.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I would like to appreciate the following colleagues who have contributed to this bill: Senator Cherargei, Senator Faki, Senator Mungatana, Senator Ledama Olekina, the majority leader of this House, Senator Aaron Cheriot, Senator Eddie Okech, Senator Crystal Asige, and last but not least, the Honorable Senator Okia Omtata. Mr. Speaker, on behalf of the mover of this motion, the Honorable Senator Chesang, I would like to echo largely what part of the sentiments by the colleagues who've talked into this bill, to the extent that we are living in a global society, Mr. Speaker, and we will not bury our heads in the sand to say that gambling and betting related activities do not happen. It might be a tall order to say we will largely manage to regulate the process, but Mr. Speaker, we must start from somewhere. And where we are is the beginning of that decision to try to regulate and to try to make it at least be something that we can speak about and regulate by making sure that this law passes. This law, Mr. Speaker, is not only about gambling. It's got so many other aspects in it. We are aware that we've got the National Lottery Act of 2023 that this law speaks to it. We've got so many other regulations. And what the amended version of this, or rather mediated version of this law, Mr. Speaker, is trying to achieve is to enhance. Mr. Speaker, could you kindly protect me
Senator
from...
Cherargei, allow Senator Sigei to make his submissions.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, for that protection.
You're distracting him.
What I wanted to say, Mr. Speaker, is that what we are desiring to do in this mediated version of the bill is to ensure that we strengthen the regulation, the penalties that are going to be meted upon those who, for instance, participate or be involved in activities gambling without the license. For example, Mr. Speaker, we have in the mediated version of the bill enhance the penalty in form of penalties or fine that one can be imposed to over 3 million Kenya shillings and 5 million Kenya shillings, which is an improvement from what previously existed, because without any fine or any penalty, of course, Mr. Speaker, no one will see any reason to be deterred from conducting activities gambling without the license. Mr. Speaker, earlier on, the Honorable Senator Cherargei, which is what I wanted to inform him, and I'd like to take the opportunity to correct the misrepresentation that the particular timelines within which not timeline, sorry, but the amount that one can bet on is not 1 shilling. In fact, the committee, Mr. Speaker, enhanced the amount to Kenya shillings 20 as a means of ensuring that whoever participates in gambling must be someone who would obviously be someone of age, because if you reduce it to Kenya shillings 1, every other person, including young children, can access that amount and can gamble with it. And Mr. Speaker, in terms of the timelines that the bill provides for advertisements by the media houses, the watershed moments is, Mr. Speaker, between 10 p.m. in the night and 5 a.m. That serves the purpose that the Honorable Senator Cherargei and the rest of my colleagues who said that we regulate, because if we don't do it, it's still going on, and we are living in a global society, Mr. Speaker, where although we would want to discourage as much as possible our young ones because of mental effects of gambling and also the consequences that comes with it, we cannot run away from the fact that this is a global thing that other regimes have attempted to regulate but have not been able to. This is an opportunity that we've gotten, and although we have not been able to ensure that we get to the right situation which members would have desired in terms of regulation, it is an attempt that going forward we have enacted a law that will give us a platform either to continuously improve that law so that we at the end of the day are able to speak to a regulated activity, which in this case will enhance also the support that we are saying, discourage Kenyans, discourage everyone else from undertaking such vices. But for those who have already been put into this, not necessarily residents within Kenya, but those who are outside, but online, and they are Kenyans whom we must also speak to, we are able to support them in a manner that this law is trying to do. We are legislating for posterity, Mr. Speaker. We are not legislating merely because we've got to do it, such that even if we are not supporting gambling, there must be a law in place. And that is exactly what we are saying. Notwithstanding our differences, our challenges with this particular activity, we must have a law in place. And so, even as I reply, I want to urge the honorable members of this House to support it. And for those improvements that we are saying we need to make, it gives us a room to amend the law. And in the process of amending the law, we also go beyond the law itself and create an environment that will help Kenyans, those who are gambling, those who have been addicted, those who have been affected by gambling activities, to also get an opportunity to undertake an understanding of how else can they exit the vice, rather than just saying we do not want it, we do not want the law, yet the law, or rather gambling in itself, is existing, it's cutting across, and it cannot be ignored. And that is why I want to encourage members to support. And Mr. Speaker, I wish to support, and pursuant to the provisions of Standing Order 663, I request to defer putting of the question to a later date. Mr. Speaker, I thank you.
Thank you, Senator. Putting of the question has been deferred. Honorable Senators, looking at the order paper, we will have to defer order number 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, and 17. Clerk, call the next order.
Order number 18, the county government's additional allocations. Number 2 bill, Senate Bills number 8 of 2025. Second reading, resumption of debate.
Senator Mungatana, I think you were on the floor of the House when this matter was being debated. You have a remainder of 12 minutes to continue with your submission.
I think Senator Sige is saying something. Oh, okay. Okay. Thank you. I want to use this one. Can I be given this? Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I was on my feet yesterday seconding the bill that had been moved by Honorable, our Chief Whip, Senator Mheshimiwa Boni Khalwale. And Mr. Speaker, I was at the point where I said this bill has 12 clauses. And the last clause talks about criminalization of financial misconduct. And this is criminalization of those officers who are told, Senate has given this schedule, and you are supposed to abide by this schedule so that the counties can get the money on time, and they don't do it, and they don't have any consequences. Mr. Speaker, I was saying, as I second this bill, that it is my hope and sincere hope that in this financial year that we are starting, when these violations are gross, then the responsible officers who delay the funding of counties, Mr. Speaker, who refuse to follow what the Senate has said as far as funding of county timeously is concerned, there will be criminal consequences for them as envisaged in this county government additional allocation bill that we are passing today. Mr. Speaker, those who are listening to me, they must know that in the Senate we provide 3 main ways in which we fund county government activities. The first one is the equitable fund, the equitable share that comes to them. The second one is the equalization fund that we have passed, and we were debating it here yesterday, and we're waiting to vote on it. And this is the third one, where we pass the county government's additional allocations that are supposed to go to the county government. Mr. Speaker, in these additional allocations, we have 2 main categories. The first is the unconditional additional allocation. And these ones, the funds that come from the unconditional additional allocations to the counties, they come from revenues that have been collected from the courts and the court fines. When any county passes its laws and there is a contravention of those laws, the counties are supposed to put fines on those people who contravene their laws so that they can generate wealth. This money is collected and is put together, and when we pass here, every county is given its share. So I needed to say this very quickly, that counties that have not developed their own version of city courts, because like here in Nairobi, we have what we call city court. In the city court, when you are found by the county askaris that you haven't paid your licenses and all that, they will take you and fine you there, and you pay, so that the county government then creates a source of fund. I'm saying this to all Kenyans and to all county governments. Please develop the court systems in your counties, because there are counties that are not supporting the collection of these revenues. And as a result, Mr. Speaker, you will find very little money coming as collection back to the county revenue fund. Mr. Speaker, the other issue that is under this, that is the unconditional allocation of funds from this bill. This one comes from the 20% revenues of the royalties that have been collected across the country. Mr. Speaker, we want, and I want to use this opportunity to request that all the counties that have minerals and other resources that come from the ground, which can be mined, we are asking the minister in charge of this, the Honorable Hassan Ali Joho, to do what he can within his powers to make sure that these resources are developed. And I'm saying this, Mr. Speaker, because in Tana River County, for example, when the minister took over, he said that the gypsum mining in that county is not controlled, and he suspended everything. And Mr. Speaker, what that means is that there's no gypsum mining activities going on. Now, if the minister does not create a framework in which that mining can go on, then it means the royalties that we are expecting to get from this unconditional remittance of funds back to the county will be reduced. So I'm asking through this platform that you create the regulatory framework and help the people of Tana River to get back to that resource exploitation in an organized manner, because it was not very organized at the beginning, and that's why we supported your move to suspend the mining activities. But we want to go back, because this is one of the sources of unconditional transfers of monies back to the county. And Mr. Speaker, there is another problem at the Treasury, which we are asking the minister to also look at. Treasury for a very long time keeps on giving excuses when it comes to remittances of these 20% royalties back to counties. You will find that it becomes very difficult, for example, for Taita Taveta County, for Kwale County, even for Tana River County, to access the monies that are supposed to be coming from royalties. Mr. Speaker, even Kilifi County, these are the coastal counties that have mineral resources. And Mr. Speaker, you will find that Treasury continuously creates hurdle after hurdle. Even when we have passed it here in the Senate, and we are saying that the 20% mineral royalty share must come to the counties, they create hurdles and make it difficult for counties. Mr. Speaker, in this financial year 2025-2026, as we pass this law, we want to ask the Treasury, please do the right thing. Stop frustrating counties. When this schedule that we have passed, and it is passed and it becomes law, you should be able to obey it and give the counties what they deserve in terms of their funds. Mr. Speaker, I have said that these government additional allocations, they come through the unconditional and number two, through the conditional grants that are supposed to come to the counties. Mr. Speaker, the conditional allocations that come to the counties are in two portions. The first portion is the conditional allocations that the national government gives to counties so that the share of the counties from the revenues of the government are accessed to these counties. So that although these monies have been allocated to the national government, they are actually transferred back to the to the county governments. Mr. Speaker, I wanted to urge that we treat this bill with the seriousness that it deserves and we fast track it. Why I say this is because the national government will not release the monies to the counties that belong to money that was sent for doctors. The arrears of monies payable to doctors through the collective bargaining agreement, those who have not been paid, it is contained in this bill. That's why we need to hurry up and pass it. Mr. Speaker, the conditional allocation for the community health promoters, the CHPs, is also contained in this bill. So that, Mr. Speaker, the monies that the national government, the portion, the share that the national government is supposed to give is also contained in this bill. Mr. Speaker, the conditional allocation for the construction of county headquarters, which include county headquarters like Tana River, Nyandarua, Lamu, and the other two, are contained in this bill. So the national government, through this bill, after we pass it, will be now in a position to transfer these funds to the relevant county government. And these amounts are contained in Schedule 2 of this bill. Mr. Speaker, the conditional allocations to the county aggregated and industrial park program that is set out in column D is also contained in these funds, in this bill. Mr. Speaker, you will remember that the president during his campaigns, he had said that every county must have an industrial park, and each industrial park will be sponsored partly by the government, national government share, and there will be also a share by the county governments. Mr. Speaker, as we speak, there are counties that have not been able to do their industrial parks. And the reason is that these funds have not been released to them. So, Mr. Speaker, I'm urging honorable members and colleagues here that we do what we can to vote this bill as fast as we can, so that these funds, these conditional grants from the national government, especially to counties like ourselves, where we are supposed to get the headquarters and other counties, that these monies will be fast-tracked, the national government will be able to release these funds, and they will be able to be utilized by county governments. Mr. Speaker, as I take my seat, I urge colleagues that when it comes to these funds, our county governments are waiting for them. We should do everything possible to pass this as we put a caution on our governors across the country.
Thank you. Your time is up, Senator. Thank you. Honourable Senators, I will now propose the question that the County Government's Additional Allocation Bill number 2, Senate Bills number 8 of 2025 be now read a second time. Senator Cheriot.
Mr. Speaker, I rise to support this bill, Mr. Speaker, the County Government's Additional Allocation Bill. An important bill which we must give history for our colleagues to recall and remember how it came about. You know, yesterday I got into a lot of trouble, Mr. Speaker, for relaying very useful information which I thought would have helped one of our colleagues here. And they said, while they disagree with it, they went to say many other things. But I think history is important, Mr. Speaker, and people must understand the perspective. I continue to be proud of the work that we did in the Budget and Finance Committee in the time when I was a member in the last two Senates, Mr. Speaker. This is one of the signature bills of that committee. And the thinking, I don't know if members do know this, is that many times in this space of conditional and unconditional grants to our county governments, Mr. Speaker, they used to be unregulated. And therefore, what will happen is that you will find that some mandarins will sit at Treasury and decide that there is an international agency like Danida which has come, and they would say, oh, we want to support a particular thematic area with regards to county governments. Therefore, the mandarins in Treasury, Mr. Speaker, I don't know who they are, but I just hear the mandarins there. I thought my interaction with them has left me with a good impression that they're just good citizens. But anyway, I'm just being your average Kenyan, Mr. Speaker. So they would determine where to place those projects. And many times, we found out that those projects were specifically positioned in certain counties with no regards to any scientific evidence, Mr. Speaker, or framework of where to follow. So you'd say, oh, we want to pilot. In fact, the easiest way to do it would say, they would say that we are piloting this project. And you realize that the piloting phase would always be done in particular counties. And there are counties which stood absolutely no chance, especially those that come from regions that were considered to be politically incorrect at the time, Mr. Speaker. And so we sat down as a committee and we said, this is actually us who have derelicted on duty. We checked out on the people that sent us to Parliament, and that's why these things are happening. And so from around the year 2020 or 21, I don't recall the specific year, we said even additional allocation to the county governments, Mr. Speaker, must pass through a particular framework. And that is the basis upon which you have this county government additional allocation bill, Mr. Speaker. It's a subset of CARA, but only that it carries any other additional resources that are going to our county governments, Mr. Speaker, and the justification being provided therein, so that you are able to read and understand, Mr. Speaker, and appreciate that this is the amount, this is why this county is getting, this is why this county is not getting. Like Senator Mungatana, who seconded this bill, mentioned, for example, if there is no mineral activity of note in your county, then you don't expect to benefit anything from the, I think in this year's additional allocation, Mr. Speaker, is for mineral rights, actually, Mr. Speaker, is 2.93 billion. And this is money that has accrued from 2016. You know, sometimes I get surprised, Senator Mungatana. People tell us, oh, this administration doesn't care for devolution. If those that were there previously cared for devolution, why did money from the mineral rights stay in the coffers of the National Treasury from 2016 up to date, Senator Mungatana? Why is it that it is only in this financial year that we are eventually saying what doesn't belong to the national government, send it to the counties? And additionally, many other funds that are listed. This is part of the 20% share of the mineral royalties that is due to counties as per Section 183.5 of the of the Mining Act, Cap 306, which stipulates that 20% of mineral royalties will be paid to the state shall accrue to the county government where the mining operations occur. And it should be of interest to you, Senator Mungatana, I think even Senator Umtata, even Cherargei, Senator, there is significant mining activity in your county. It is important that we put proper framework for that particular space. There's a lot of artisanal mining activities across the western belt. If you overfly Busia, Vigori, Siaya, Kisumu, you'll see some round holes with water filled inside. Then some young men will be running around there with sacks, trying to shake them the whole day and saying that eventually they will get some piece of gold. As leaders, we ought to be concerned and say we cannot allow our people to live like this 60 years after independence. And I appreciate Senator Boni Halwale doesn't mention this. Nowadays, he has conveniently forgotten, and he's not here. That initially, in his good days, before certain things happened, which I'm yet to know, he would always remind us that the largest gold refinery ever built in the Republic of Kenya is being built in Ikolomani, not Kakamega, Ikolomani, where he comes from. But nonetheless, that while that is being done, the same needs to be replicated across all our counties, actually, that have presence of minerals, Mr. Speaker, because this 20% from the mineral rights, Mr. Speaker, is a significant amount of money. And if we are able to grow that sector, Mr. Speaker, and ensure that it earns the country a significant amount, because it's not for lack of good amount of minerals, Mr. Speaker, that Mr. Speaker, that our country doesn't have a mature mining subsector. It is a fact that we have not created a proper regulation of that environment to attract investment. If you want to carry out significant, why all the serious players in the mining sector will never come to a country like Kenya, Mr. Speaker, is because of the difficulties that it will take. First of all, to secure community rights is a problem. Senator Eddie will show up with his sanguenas and say, oh, this land belongs to us. This man cannot mine until, I don't know, they do this. Then Cherargei will also come with his demands to the new investor. Until we get to a point of appreciating that no investor will come into our country where the laws don't protect them and therefore provide a clear path for them to recoup their investment, Mr. Speaker, we are never going to develop this particular sector. We must clean up the Mining Act, Mr. Speaker, so that we make it business friendly. We make it possible to attract the big players in the mining sector globally, Mr. Speaker. The minute they will appreciate and they will know that this is a country governed by the rule of law, and as an investor, my rights are protected, then they will invest here and they will be able to provide opportunity in terms of employment and even resources, Mr. Speaker, to both the county and the national government, Mr. Speaker. I was just speaking about that 20% share of the mineral rights because it's part and parcel of what our counties are benefiting from. It's only a paltry 2.9 billion shillings, Mr. Speaker. And like I've mentioned, this is a crude amount for a significant number of years, which tells you that if you want to know how much was paid as mineral royalties for the last, I don't know how many number of years, you just need to multiply that figure by 5 times. It gives you almost 15 billion shillings. I believe strongly that the country can earn upwards, perhaps even 10 times of that particular figure. And that is a challenge that we must pose to the new leadership at the helm of the Ministry of Mining. The Cabinet Secretary must give us a roadmap. You heard what Senator Mungatana said about gypsum, Mr. Speaker. That is actually driving up the cost of cement, because now people, the minute we banned the mining of gypsum locally, Mr. Speaker, people have to import from countries as far as Tanzania. And it's not that we don't have that raw material available in the country. It is just because we cannot agree on how to run that particular trade. How long does it take the Ministry of Mining to make the decision? You register. Those that have got sites sign up their contracts with their forwarding contracts with where they are taking those minerals, Mr. Speaker. If we continue to take the length of time that you are taking to make those decisions, no investor will invest in this particular sector. The bill in total, Mr. Speaker, distributes close to 70 billion across our counties, Mr. Speaker, which includes even money in form of court fines, Mr. Speaker, which is 9.95, oh, actually, 9.9, I'm struggling to get the exact figure. Oh yeah, the 2.95 actually is from court fines and mineral royalties. There is 9.95 billion from the national government share of the second schedule and 5.9 from proceeds of loans and grants from development partners, which is the third schedule. All these things that are listed, and you know them. There are quite a number of them. And I have always questioned, why do these loans and grants, Mr. Speaker, take the form and shape that they take? There is even a proposal also on the community health promoters, 3.24 billion, Mr. Speaker. There is 454 million to 5 counties. I must register my disappointment, Mr. Speaker. You know, it was a very difficult task, I remember, here in 2016, to convince the House to build headquarters for 5 counties: Isiolo, Nyandarua, Tana River, Lamu, and I don't know which other one. Tharaka Nithi, actually. And there was a debate in the House because people say, we have needs also in our own county. But then good reason prevailed, and people agreed and said, given that these counties actually did not have district headquarters back in the day, they don't have even basic infrastructure to set up. And therefore, over the years, we have continued to pay. It has taken inordinately long to complete that payment, Mr. Speaker. But I was disturbed that recently, it was just 2 days after we had made the decision to add Nyandarua, one, into the list of the counties that are benefiting under the affirmative action. You remember there were 12 counties that we created that were getting less than 6 billion shillings, and we said we need to find a way of bringing them closer to the rest of the counties, and therefore we developed a list of 20 counties and built it into the formula, the 4th generation formula that is now available. So it's the second time that Nyandarua is benefiting from an affirmative action exercise, and I wish Senator Methu was here when I'm speaking about this, because I have a message for him individually as a leader and for the people of Nyandarua. Then secondly, you have seen that that was not the first time. They are benefiting from this 454 million. When we had demonstrations recently, a whooping, I think, 35 county governments' vehicles, together with the same headquarters that we had given to them under affirmative action, was raised down by protesters, Mr. Speaker. So you receive support from the rest of the country, that they appreciate that you have unique challenges. Then in the spirit of madness that captures and is urged on by certain lost characters, Mr. Speaker, clever by half fools, who think that by inciting young people to burn around their country, they'll pass a message of dissatisfaction, you burn the entire building together with 40 vehicles. That was really unfortunate, Mr. Speaker. Yet, these are part of the resources that we are distributing. There's also money to KIPES. You remember there are counties that had not benefited equally. This is the 250 share contribution. I am not sure, and the Vice Chair is here of Budget and Finance Committee. I'm not sure whether this 4.5 billion now clears the list of the remaining counties. Because remember last financial year, I think about 30 counties benefited, and there were 17 that were to benefit, Mr. Speaker. It is my hope and assumption that now we will complete that business, because there are counties where the contractor has done significant amount of work, but they cannot move beyond where they have reached because the counties have exhausted their counterpart funding. Remember, the county governments were to contribute 250, and the national government was to give another 450. So it is my hope that those 18 counties that had been left behind, actually I've seen it in paragraph 22 of the report, that those 18 counties that were remaining, I was saying that because I know Kericho was part of the 18 counties, that this is actually money to those 18 counties. There is also, Mr. Speaker, funds that are being allocated, and these are the various programs. Senator Manzo and my colleagues, we have to do something about these various donor-funded projects in our county. If we don't keep an eye, Senator Mtata, and we continue to have, now in this list, there are about 10 different programs that are being implemented by donor agencies in our counties, some by grants and some by even loans. They come with unique propositions. You can only do this, use these funds to do particular programs. If we don't keep a keen eye, then you'll get to a point where you will lose track of the number of programs actually that are being run in your own county, and that fund will be misused. For example, when the first one of the slum upgrade program came about, you remember what many county governments did? They went to the nearest slum that is possible and gave contractors who did not know even how to lay a centimeter of tarmac. But because they had finally been granted an opportunity to lay tarmac in the name of upgrading a slum, Mr. Speaker, some even mixed dust with black waste oil and burnt it on the road, saying that there's a new tarmac road that has been built here. Within a few months of the long rains, for those of us that come from areas where there is long rains, the whole supposedly quote-unquote tarmac had been washed away because of programs that are conceptualized here in Nairobi by people in treasury, people who sit in high offices in the form of donors, Mr. Speaker, and they want to work directly with our counties with very little involvement in the Senate. The members of the Budget and Finance Committee, Senator Tabitha, you're here as a vice chair, you will have let down the country if you don't call to order the treasury to give you, one, the feasibility studies that are done across all the 47 counties before signing up for all these programs that are listed here, and the justification why this program needs to run in our counties. I'd rather, Mr. Speaker, because part of the reason why Kenyans chose devolution in 2010, Mr. Speaker, they chose self-governance. I'd rather we put those funds in the hands of our county governments and let the people decide through their representatives in the county assembly and the governors that they elect on what are their priority areas. If you read this report by our colleagues, from paragraph 27, there is Sijui Aquaculture Business Development Program, 200 million. IDA, this is World Bank, and on this thing they call FLOCA, Financially Locally Led Climate Action Program. I don't know how much, 121 million. There's another one by IDA, part of the FLOCA, a grant of 6.2 billion. You know, there is KFW, German Development Corporation, also on FLOCA, 1.2 billion with 16 counties. No direction specifically on how those 16 counties were agreed upon. There's another one for Food System Resilience Program. It is funded by IDA. This is the development agency of the World Bank, 3.2 billion. Drought Resilient Program for Northern Kenya by the German Development Bank, KFW, 1.28 billion. Second, this is one that I'm talking about, Kenya Devolution Support Program. One is a grant of 1.762 to all the 47 counties and others. Then there is a Kenya Devolution Support Program Phase 2. This one now is not a grant, 13 billion shillings. Kenya Livestock Commercialization, Kenya Urban Support Program, Kenya Urban Support Program. I think all the way there is the NIDA for primary health, water and sanitation. You know, Kenya Informal Settlement Improvement Program, 1 billion Kenya shillings. Kenya Informal, this is the one that I mentioned earlier, by World Bank, 840 million. About 20 different programs that are being run. But if you ask the members of Budget and Finance Committee to explain to us as a house, what was the conceptualization of this program? What is the justification that are county specific to ensure that each and every county provided sufficient justification to say we need to do some climate action. We need to improve our livestock. We need to improve, Mr. Speaker, our informal settlement. Some counties, like where I come from, and even this Senator Cherargei, there is nothing of significance that you can call a slum. 2, 3, or 400, 500 people living in some former settlement at a corner in the county does not qualify and does not pass for an informal settlement. That money can be put to more prudent use. I wish we had turned those resources into agriculture farm support program so that we support either our tea or our sugarcane farmers. We'll get more value out of it as a country and as a county, Mr. Speaker. Therefore, these programs, unless there is proper justification that is provided to us here in the Senate. As a custodian of the interest of county governments and its people, Mr. Speaker, we need to make a decision before the next financial year. We can let these ones pass because we have already made a decision about it, but there needs to be a better, Mr. Speaker, administration of this space. And maybe at the next joint retreat of the House, Mr. Speaker, we can invite the partners that are running all these programs to explain to us and help us appreciate what is their thinking so that we equally share our feedback with them. I don't want to take long than that, Mr. Speaker, because I know many of you want to speak on this topic, but I register my appreciation with the industry of the committee and request that we support them and conclude on this very important piece of legislation. I thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you, Senator Aaron Cheriot. I will call upon Senator Samson Cherargei.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, sir, for this opportunity. I think we have spoken to most of these bills, especially in the process of from Division of Revenue. So, Speaker, I think one of the critical roles of the Senate is what we are doing today. Under Article 96, the role of the Senate is to protect devolution. And one way of protecting devolution, Mr. Speaker, sir, is allocating sufficient resources. Because the role of the Senate, for the benefit of your guests at the gallery, is one, is to protect devolution, to do representation, to do oversight, and of course, budget-making process, which they are privileged to watch from the gallery, Mr. Speaker, sir. And on this, the county government's additional allocation number 2, Bill of 2025, so Speaker, emanates from Article 202 of the Constitution of Kenya 2010, where these additional funds can be conditional or unconditional, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, and unlike Article 210, where it talks about at least 15% of total latest audited national revenue. And Mr. Speaker, I want to appeal to the National Assembly to fast-track the auditing of the latest revenue so that we are getting, Mr. Speaker, I want to insist and I want to repeat up to time, so Speaker, that it doesn't make sense that the national budget is 4.2 trillion, yet we are allocating 415 billion only to counties. And you are aware, Mr. Speaker, counties are choking on their own weight of what we call wage bill. I think the highest county was Kisii, with almost 56–58%, Mr. Speaker, that goes only to the wage bill. Nandi is a foregone story, where your friend is spending over 4 billion Kenyan shillings in terms of wage bill, yet the allocation comes to around 8 billion, Mr. Speaker. That is why the people of Nandi now cannot access markets. The roads are totally impassable. I saw a number of local artists which we are familiar with. Some of them were slipping and falling down during the Jantex homecoming in Cherondo. Mr. Speaker, and a number of them like DJ Kaptula, Raburia, Koima, among others, bore the brand. And you know we are blessed just like Bomet with a lot of rains, Mr. Speaker. And there are so many stall projects, Mr. Speaker, in Nandi, for example, Kapsengere Health Center, Kobujoy Health Center, Mr. Speaker, which is a stone throw away from the governor's home. We have one in Chepterwai, which has stall, Nyai Ward, Mr. Speaker, and a number of stall projects, Mr. Speaker, even in Nandi Hills, a stadium, which whenever it rains, Mr. Speaker, the Nandi Hills Stadium normally is flooded with water because that stadium has never been fixed by the county government. Mr. Speaker, I did receive a report from Controller Budget, and all the money that was allocated to county government of Nandi had been dispersed by 30th June 2025, Mr. Speaker. So, Mr. Speaker, the point I'm making is that we need to see value for money. It cannot be, Mr. Speaker, that we are using so much energy at the floor of the House. Yet, a lot of resources are not going to the intended purposes, Mr. Speaker. We are seeing the people of Nandi cannot access roads from all the way from Sangalo, the 6 sub-counties, Mr. Speaker. There is still a big challenge that most of the roads remain impassable at the moment. Not only national roads, but also county or what we call feeder roads, Mr. Speaker, where the standard of doing road in Nandi is there is only grading. They don't do maraming, Mr. Speaker. They don't do drainage. They don't do culverting, Mr. Speaker. And I know for the region where we experience a lot of rains, Mr. Speaker, that is affecting us. Because now when we have milk, we have tea, we have cane to deliver to the market, we can't deliver because roads remain impassable. And you remember Bomet and Nandi, we have cess that should be used to fix some of these roads, especially in Nandi sub-county, Aldai sub-county, Mr. Speaker, Aldai sub-county. Virtually the entire of Nandi is planting tea. So that continues. And this money, Mr. Speaker, before I go to the substratum of my contribution, this money is not sadaka. It's not tithe and offering to governors to use them to show the largesse of power, Mr. Speaker. So, Speaker, it is very embarrassing that as we speak today, Mr. Speaker, there are people who are assigned to carry governor's seat or even toilets around, Mr. Speaker, for the comfort of the governor. Yet, most of people do not access drugs, for example, in Kapsabet County Referral Hospital, or a number of dispensaries and county, even Mosoria sub-county, Mr. Speaker. Yet there is money for governors to move around, carrying their seats. I don't know whether when governors sit, that seat that belongs to the governor, I don't know whether sitting position will change, or does it have a massage, those seats that governors carry. And my governor is fond of carrying such seats around. I don't know whether it has a massage machine that massages somebody when they sit. So, Speaker, they carry toilets, VIP toilets around. I don't know. Yet you are carrying those things where even Wananchi or even a local ECD, like in Timobo, Mr. Speaker, do not have a functional ECD, or Kapkeringan, Mr. Speaker, somewhere in sub-county. So this money is not meant to make governors look good. This money is to give county governments to perform, including county assemblies, Mr. Speaker. So the point I'm trying to make, Mr. Speaker, as the headlight is the issue also we want to challenge, Mr. Speaker. I saw a report today in one of the media stations, and I'm happy, Senator, and I'm happy to see my chair of public accounts. He has been as rare as a snowball in hell in this house, Mr. Speaker, but it's good to see me. Yes, Mr. Speaker. And even he looks radiant. Mr. Speaker, I'm happy one of the notorious litigants and the presidential candidate, Senator Okia Omtata, is in the House. And I want to inform him that there is a report that has shown that Kenyans are losing confidence with EACC in the fight against corruption in this country. Because, Mr. Speaker, as we talk today, and I said, and I don't fear to contradict myself, Mr. Speaker, in the last session, when EACC appeared, then they had only done a conviction of 20,000 shillings. We see largesse, Mr. Speaker, when you go to upmarket estates. Mr. Speaker, when you go to upmarket estates in this city, you find most of the buildings, modern homes that are being built within the renowned estates in this country, Mr. Speaker, comes from people connected to county governments, including allegedly governors, Mr. Speaker. In fact, some governors no longer stay in their home counties. They perambulate and calavent within the city, Mr. Speaker. Yet there are people, there are governors who are running, Mr. Speaker, their counties through remote control, Mr. Speaker. And I want to inform my chair of PAC, he knows those governors. I don't know whether he is exempted, Mr. Speaker. They remote control, Mr. Speaker. And these governors predominantly, Mr. Speaker, most of them come from northern part of this country, especially northeastern. Most of the governors from northern Kenya, Mr. Speaker, are remote controlling their counties from here. You remember the incident of Garissa, Mr. Speaker, when there was a breakout of fire in Masjid Market, Mr. Speaker, that almost spread to Garissa County Referral Hospital. The people who were controlling the firefighting machines don't know even how to operate, Mr. Speaker. Yet we are sending billions and billions of shillings, Mr. Speaker. Even my governor, Mr. Speaker, in the financial year of 2024-2025, he had the audacity of using a car hire services of 42 million, Mr. Speaker. Yet the children of Nandi are yet to receive bursaries, Mr. Speaker. Yet it is very paradox and insult that we tax Kenyans, Mr. Speaker, but they don't see that value in the service provision. We saw what happened in Twenwek Hospital, Mr. Speaker. It is a very sad story that my governor, and this is an audit general report of 2024-2025, used 42 million whipping to do car hire services. Yet in 2013, Mr. Speaker, the county government of Nandi purchased motor vehicles to be used in official functions, Mr. Speaker. And most of those vehicles that belong to Nandi County government, Mr. Speaker, are only missing a battery, service, tires. But the governor uses, if this is not abuse of government resources, then what is an abuse, Mr. Speaker? When you are using 42 million to do car services, Mr. Speaker. Yet the roads remain impassable, Mr. Speaker. So we want to appeal to the Ethics and Anti-Corruption Commission to come out, Mr. Speaker, 4 billion, which is almost 40% to 50% of the money we allocate, Mr. Speaker, that goes to Nandi. 4 billion Kenya shillings is consumed through wage bill. Mr. Speaker, and you are aware, I'm happy you are a man who is always alive in the current affairs. You remember EACC did an impromptu rat matas, Mr. Speaker, abracadabra, and visited Kapsabet County headquarters, took away computers, took away payroll records. Mr. Speaker, up to today, they have never even arrested a rat. Even a rat, Mr. Speaker, they have never arrested. Yet you are telling us they are serious in fighting against corruption. Yet you can tell who are the ghost workers. It is easy to trace that from Nandi County CRF account, the money went to the payroll. These are the fake, Mr. Speaker, including the people who are close to the governor with close blood consanguinity, Mr. Speaker. Yet no one has been arrested up to date, Mr. Speaker. We want to see action. And that is why my challenge to EACC today, know that Kenyans have lost trust in your fight against corruption in this country, Mr. Speaker. I met colleagues from National Assembly, and I know colleagues are aware of the issue of national government, the constitutional amendment to entrench CDF, Mr. Speaker. And I want to say we are not, personally, I'm not interested with Senate Oversight Fund. I want the capacity and ability and functionality of the Senate be broadened, including veto of bills, Mr. Speaker. And they were telling us, no, you know, CDF is working more effectively than county government funds because you have allowed governors to misuse funds, Mr. Speaker. And they say before you kill a dog, you must give it a bad name. And that is why, Mr. Speaker, we are having a challenge because we are now the issue, and I know my chair of PAC is in the House, including the vice chair of PIC. Mr. Speaker, the only time we appropriate this money is now. Then we come morticians. We come at the tail end. There is a weak link in terms of accountability of these resources. And that is why I come where MCAs must, because they are the ones who will go in Bomet County Assembly, led by Speaker Cosmas Korir, will appropriate, Mr. Speaker, MCAs in Migori, MCAs in Homa Bay, MCAs in Busia. I don't know whether the presidential candidate still goes to Busia because the last time he went there, he came home. He came back to Nairobi under the rain of stones. And I don't know, Mr. Speaker, you know, I think in this country, Mr. Speaker, we need to, when you declare your interest to run for presidency, your security detail should be enhanced because that is what happens in the Western world, Mr. Speaker. So those MCAs, Mr. Speaker, they must sit down and appropriate because the moment Vice Chair of PIC and Chair of Roads and Transport, this gentleman, Senator Kishero, must be very powerful in this session because he's the Vice Chair of PIC and he's also the Chair of Roads and Transport. He's doing a good job, Mr. Speaker. The only time PIC will come and see is when they are doing morticians. My chair, Senator Moses Kajwang, one of the ranking members, Mr. Speaker, and in fact, in future going, the way the senators of United States of America, when you are ranking, I think Senator Kajwang should be, the E-seat should be marked ranking member. Mr. Speaker, he knows the only time we come and interact With the issues of Nandis, when we are doing a post-mortem, we are now morticians. We can't salvage anything. Even when I'm talking about car hire services of 42 million, those guys have been paid. If we wanted to ask whether that money is prudent or not, how will we ask, Mr. Speaker? Even the investigation that is ongoing in Bomet, these people come at the tail end as morticians. There is nothing you can do. We'll just diagnose and say this is, and PIC just will write a report, the Public Investment Committee of the Senate, they will table a report. We'll make a recommendation. EACC will look at our recommendation as if it is a love letter recommendation. They'll just look at it as it's a flowers we are giving to them. They will ignore. And that is why I want to appeal to Kenyans, Mr. Speaker, the sad reality. And Kenyans must accept this. The much Parliament can do is to recommend. You know, whenever I walk, I was in Kapchepsir, I was in Naldai, I was in Mosop over the last weekend, Mr. Speaker. You meet one agent and they are telling you, Senator, the money has been lost, we don't see roads. But the only thing we can do is only to recommend. Unless Kenyans will go to the Constitution and amend and give powers, Senate to arrest and prosecute and detain. Maybe that one will be resolved, Mr. Speaker. So, Mr. Speaker, on another issue of additional funds, and I want to issue on the issue of royal mandaries, I know Senator Eddy also has minerals we are getting 55 million. But the sad reality, I want to challenge the Committee on Finance and Budget, Mr. Speaker, led by able Vice Chair, Senator Mutinda, and I saw her, I don't know whether Karen Yam was with the President in Nairobi tour. That yes, both of you are with the President, and it is good you are standing with him. I know the absence of Nairobi Senator, you are feeling it comfortably. Mr. Speaker, it cannot be that up to now 15 billion Kenya shillings of mineral royalties has not been released to Migori or Nandi. I think you need to tell Mbadi, one of the experts that was given, to pay this 15 billion. Because you are people, Eddie, and my people are suffering because of not receiving it. Yesterday we were discussing on issue of equalization funds. 46.5 billion is yet to be released. Mr. Speaker, are we serious? Then we want services to be provided, Mr. Speaker. Therefore, even in Chemeli, Chemase, we have Kerebe gold mine, Mr. Speaker. We need to see value in even Cap's house, Mr. Speaker. We need to see value. Mr. Speaker, on the issue of intern doctors, that one has been resolved. I am happy. And CHV community health promoters, it must be seen, Mr. Speaker. On the issue of flogger, I wanted to make a final comment, Mr. Speaker, because in the interest of time. Mr. Speaker, in conclusion, I want to appeal because Nandi is going to get 480.8 million through additional funds, Mr. Speaker. Nandi is going, but I want to agree with the majority leader. World Bank is now a conduit of corruption. Mr. Speaker, when the first Kenya Urban Support Program and Kenya Devolution Program came to now, I wrote so many letters to World Bank to demand accountability and projects being done in Nandi. They never responded. They imagine I was sending them compliments, Mr. Speaker. I want to challenge Finance and Budget and PAC to call this World Bank another donor. They must be accountable. They are busy lecturing us about democracy, accountability. Yet when you today write about Kenya Urban Support Program or Kenya Devolution Program about Migori County Government, Eddie, try right today. World Bank will never even acknowledge your receipt of your letter. They will never tell you what is happening in Bomet. And they have specific contractors. That is why my people of Mosoria Township were demonstrating, Mr. Speaker. We have tried to engage World Bank, Mr. Speaker. Why are World Bank operating in secrecy? Like they are night runners, Mr. Speaker. Or they are processing witchcraft and sorcery, Mr. Speaker. World Bank and other donors who give us grants and loans, Senator Eddy, Senator Kajwang, Senator Mutinda, they must appear before Senate and tell us what they are doing in Nairobi. Why do they want to operate above the law? And this money is not a funeral money or muchango. It is money that we must pay back. Mr. Speaker, I want to request you, after you leave here, you are one of the senior lawyers in this country. Try and write to World Bank and request them and even other donors what is happening in Bomet. They will never respond because they are now conduit of corruption. And that is why I agree with Donald Trump when he disbanded USAID. Because they cannot, that they don't want to account to anybody. They want to live in upcoming. Mr. Speaker, can you believe they even do what we call training and sensitization? 20% of the money, they are taking it to Fochai and Mandazi, and they are training community patrons, Mr. Speaker. We must be told. I want to challenge Finance and Budget Committee and Public Accounts to come out strongly on this matter. With those many remarks, Mr. Speaker, I support and I thank you.
Senator Eddie Okech.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. We are progressing well as a Senate. And I wanted to appreciate that, Mr. Speaker, even as I get up and right away, support this bill before us, the county government's additional allocation bill. Mr. Speaker, this bill comes in the backdrop of the division bill, the revenue division bill that we just passed between national government and the county governments. Mr. Speaker, I had the pleasure of being part of the team that mediated the county, the revenue division bill that we passed through the vertical share between national government and the county government. And Mr. Speaker, you know very well that that is the substantive and the mainstream budgetary bill that we pass in this House, basically to look at the money that are going to the counties, Mr. Speaker. And from that bill alone, we managed as a House to push initially the county government had been proposed to get on that bill 387 last year, which is what they got, and the national government had proposed to give them 405 billion, which we managed as a House to push to 415 billion as a mainstay legislation that gives counties money. Mr. Speaker, it should be noted to the public that this is a follow-up to that, because Article 202 of the Constitution, sub-Article 2, requires, and we had a premonition, a situation where that mainstay documentation of sharing revenue, we could share revenue with county governments, between county governments and national government, and then perhaps there could be more money required to do more functions. And Mr. Speaker, you know these functions could be affected in two ways. Either under Schedule 4, where a function has been given to counties and there is less money following them, which is the fight we have been fighting in this House, especially because most of these functions are naturally not costed. And we need to cost these functions to make sure that we have got the right metrics and the right calculus that can be able to ensure that national government functions are run within the amount of money that they need, just as the county functions. But, Mr. Speaker, you also know that under that article, the visioning was that under Article 187 of the Constitution, there could also be a possibility that county governments might get additional responsibilities by the national government to be able to undertake those functions that national government is supposed to do. So, for instance, Mr. Speaker, you remember at the beginning of our term, the President made some pronouncements around the issue of building industrial park as something that could stimulate the economy by having a number of industrial parks across the country. In fact, to be specific, 47 of them, that each county should have an industrial park. Now, an industrial park is not something that is explicitly a function of county government, but it is something that the national government, through its agenda, was thinking of introducing, and therefore came up with this idea that counties can contribute, national government can contribute. That's a pseudo allocation of function, basically to county government. Because what ended up happening is that Article 187, therefore, is evoked by that presidential pronouncement that then brings counties to do something like that. And therefore, Mr. Speaker, you end up having those functions going back to counties, Mr. Speaker, and then money must then follow it. So this bill is a bill that then would allow the national government to add additional resources to counties in areas such as those. And Mr. Speaker, there are many that we have seen in the passing of legislations that then gives the burden of concurrence between national government and the county government. We know that when we were in Turkana the last time we went for what we call Senate Mashinani, we passed a bill in both houses of parliament, and of course specifically to Senate, we passed a bill on what we call community health promoters. And that act of parliament ended up creating section, column B in the second schedule of that particular act that required that county governments should have a 50% share with the national government so that national government will contribute to the stipend of community health care promoters, and then county governments will contribute 50%. Again,